Taking a train ride in Bangladesh had been at the top of my travel bucket list. Everyone said it was an unforgettable experience, and they were absolutely right, just not in the way I expected. I boarded the train bright and early, clutching my prized ticket for a window seat. The train was already packed, and I squeezed past bustling families, vendors hawking snacks, and a man inexplicably carrying a mattress. Finally, I found my seat, occupied by a man holding a live chicken. "Excuse me, I think this is my seat?" I said hesitantly. The man gave me a polite smile and gestured for me to sit next to the chicken. Deciding to roll with it, I sat down, careful not to disturb my feathery companion. As the train chugged along, I tried to soak in the sights: lush green fields, small villages, and kids waving from the tracks. But my peace was short-lived. The chicken decided it didn't like being on the man's lap, so it transferred to mine. I thought it was just going to stay calm, but suddenly, with a loud squawk, it flapped its wings wildly, covering me in feathers. Just as I thought things couldn't get more chaotic, a vendor entered the carriage, carrying what looked like samosas. He shouted something, and passengers started passing money down the rows. Curious, I bought one. I took a bite, expecting a savory treat. Nope. It was sweet and spicy, and had an unidentified crunchy texture that made me immediately regret my decision. "What's in this?" I asked the man next to me. "Well, it's Bangladeshi, you know. It's our favorite normally: fish, sugar, and chili," he replied cheerfully. I gagged discreetly as the train lurched, causing the chicken to squawk again and its owner to burst into laughter. To make matters worse, an elderly woman decided the aisle was a good place to store her bundle of vegetables, effectively trapping me in my seat. When the train stopped at a station, passengers flooded on, filling every inch of available space. I suddenly found myself sharing my seat with not one, but 3 new people, all squished together like sardines. By the time we reached Chittagong, I was sweaty, slightly bruised, and had feathers in my hair. The man with the chicken gave me a toothless grin and said, "Good ride, no?" As I stepped off the train, I could feel fresher air, but the humidity was heavy, and carrying all my luggage was a real challenge. I tried to find an exit out of the human sea looking for a bus terminal, but I soon realized my connecting bus had already left. I was now stranded in the bustling chaos. With no time to dwell, I knew I had to get out of there quick as men were giving me strange looks. I managed to flag down a passing taxi and hopped in, hoping to still salvage my plans for the day. "City center, please," I said, sinking into the back seat. The driver, a wiry man with a thick mustache, gave me an enthusiastic nod, but I quickly noticed something was off. His driving made the train feel like a luxury liner. He weaved through the traffic like a madman, narrowly missing people, food carts, and an old cow in the middle of the road. I turned around and looked through the back window to calm my nerves. I held on so tight that my knuckles turned white, clutching the seatbelt that didn't quite latch. "Traffic? Very bad, every day. Not like in your country," he said, grinning through the rearview mirror. He drove through a labyrinth of alleys, so narrow that I was convinced we'd sideswipe someone or something at any moment. At one point, we stopped completely as a truck carrying large bags in front of us just stopped and started unloading. The driver leaned out the window and launched into an animated argument, gesturing wildly while I shrank into my seat. Finally, we emerged onto a main road, and I sighed in relief, thinking I would soon be in my hotel. Suddenly, the driver slammed on the brakes to avoid a cow crossing the street, sending me flying forward and smashing my head against the seat in front of me. By this point, I wasn't sure if I should laugh, cry, or just accept my fate. As we sped on, the smell of something burning filled the taxi. Alarmed, I asked, "Is something burning?" The taxi sputtered to a halt in the middle of the road. Horns blared behind us as the driver got out, popped the hood, and said, "Fan belt has broken." He hailed down a passing trike and helped me to transfer. Before I knew it, I was inside a trike, my luggage strapped to the back. The new driver was just as bad as the last, and drove with such determination that I felt every bump, jolt, and hole in the road. I was dripping wet with sweat and felt like I was in a washing machine. I had no other choice but to laugh at the absurdity. Finally, we arrived at the city center, and I stumbled out, bruised and battered but alive. The driver turned to me, beaming. "Good ride, no?" I looked at him, speechless for a moment. "Unforgettable," I replied, handing him payment for the ride as the hotel porter came to get my luggage. Later that night, I sat on my hotel bed because I couldn't get to sleep from the street noise outside. I replayed the day's events. I couldn't help but think, how could anyone even imagine what travel in Bangladesh could be like without experiencing it firsthand? My friends were right. It truly is unforgettable.